back to Roundball Rants. Last time out, we dropped our Central Division preview, the Cavaliers Charge, breaking down the heart of the Midwest and who's really built to last this season. Now we're taking things down south, the Deep South, the Southeast Division. A mix of rebuilds, sleepers, and rising stars looking to make some serious noise in 2025 and 26. And stick around till the end, because it is a breakdown you're not going to want to miss. All right, so let's fire this thing up. It's time to rant. Before we head down south, let's stop in the nation's capital, Washington, and the Washington Wizards. After a brutal 18-64 season last year, Washington is in full rebuild mode. There aren't any illusions of immediate contention here. This is about laying a foundation. First off, the roster. They've combined veterans and a bunch of young talent. On the veteran side, you've got names like C.J. McCollum and Chris Middleton, giving the Wizards experienced wings who can help stabilize things. Overlapping that is a swing young core. Think Bileo Coulibaly, one of the intriguing young wing guard types, and Alex Sarr, the big man who is expected to anchor the front court for years. Those names are legit. So what are the key storylines here? Well, the young bigs and the wings' growth. The league is evolving. Bigs who can move, wings who can defend. And the Wizards are trying to plug into that. Sarr gives them size, mobility, and upside in the paint. Coulibaly gives them length, athleticism, and potential two-way impact on the wing. If they can develop both, that's a backbone of future success. But development isn't guaranteed. The leap from promising rookie to reliable starter is tricky. So, or is it veteran mentors, or are they just stopgaps? This is always a balancing act in a rebuild. Do the veterans help accelerate development, or do they just clog minutes and limit the upside? With McCollum and Middleton, the question is whether they can raise the floor and help groom the younger guys, or be mismatches with the timeline. If they still command big minutes, the younger wings might get blocked. The front office has to manage that very carefully. The identity and the defensive culture in Washington is also changing. Last year, the Wizards were among the worst offenses and weak defensively. For them to ascend, they'll need to craft an identity, probably one of switchy, length-driven defense and transition offense, taking advantage of their youth and athleticism. If they remain half-committed or unable to stay healthy, the rebuild drags. One of the biggest elements: when do fans get to expect the real progress? It's tempting to look at the schedule, the division, and think maybe a top 3 finish in the division is possible. But we have to be realistic. The Magic, Hawks, and Heat aren't standing still. Washington's challenge is to move up from last to maybe the middle, not jumping straight into contention. And with a bunch of young guys, minutes get contested. Who gets the wing minutes? Who becomes the lead guard? How much do the veterans slot into each of those areas? Development requires court time. The front office must be consistent in playing the right guys for long enough to find out what they're made out of. So where does that leave the prediction? I believe Washington could be the most improved team in the Southeast if a couple things click. But they still finish 5th in the division, behind the Magics, the Hawks, and the Heat, and one of the surprise teams. I'm projecting something like 28 wins this season. That puts them ahead of last year, but still in rebuilding territory. If young guys like Coulibaly and Sarr make noticeable leaps, and McCollum and Middleton stay healthy and buy in, they could push into the low 30s in wins. In short, the Wizards are no longer a write-off or a tanking club. They're a legit rebuild with direction, but there's still ground to cover before they start worrying about the play-in or the playoffs. Their focus this year, growth and identity, is proving the foundation is worthy of building upon. As we make our way down south, let's swing over to Charlotte, where the Hornets are trying to turn the corner after another rough season. 19 wins last year. Yeah, it was ugly. But there's some quiet optimism in Buzz City, especially this time around. Not because of flashy free agents or crazy trades, because the pieces they already have are starting to click into place. It starts, as always, with LaMelo Ball. When he's healthy, he's the spark that makes the Hornets feel alive. His vision, his pace, and his creativity are next level. But staying on the floor has been the issue. Every time he gets rolling, the injury bug finds him. So this season isn't just about how good LaMelo can be, it's about how often he can actually be out there on the floor. Because when he is, Charlotte's offense flows differently. Guys get cleaner looks, and tempo becomes a weapon. Right next to him, the spotlight shines on Brandon Miller. Man, what a fascinating year, too, this could be. He showed flashes last season, moments where you see that number 2 overall pick potential. Long, smooth, confident scorer with defensive instincts. Now it's about consistency. Can he be that every night threat who forces defenses to react? If Miller takes that sophomore leap, that's when the Hornets start looking like a real team and not just a developmental project. Then there's Miles Bridges. After everything he's been through, last season was about reestablishing rhythm and trust. He's still one of the most athletic, physical forwards in the league, and when he's engaged, he can set the tone on both ends. What Charlotte needs from him now is leadership, a guy who doesn't just score, but defends, rebounds, and shows the younger guys what competing looks like. If he leans into that, he becomes the emotional engine of this team. Now, one move that didn't make a ton of national noise but could really matter is the addition of Colin Sexton. This dude is pure energy. He's that 94 feet of hell kind of guard, plays hard, gets downhill, and brings an edge Charlotte's been missing. Having him come in gives them another option in the backcourt, another ball handler who can push pace and put pressure on defenses. If he buys into the system, he could end up being the spark plug that keeps them afloat when LaMelo's off the floor. And let's not sleep on the rest of the group. There's Mark Williams, big man with real rim running potential, and if he can stay healthy, he gives them vertical spacing and rebounding they desperately need. Nick Smith Jr. is another name to keep an eye on, young, confident, looking for a breakout. Add Grant Williams, a grinder, a defender, veteran presence, and suddenly this roster feels more balanced than people give it credit for. So what are the storylines? Well, first of all, the health. That's obvious. LaMelo and Mark Williams missed significant time last year, and the team unraveled because of it. You can't evaluate growth if your best players are in street clothes. Secondly, their identity. This team needs one. Are they running and gunning through Ball and Miller? Are they scrapping defensively and leaning on athleticism? Or are they still searching for the direction? That's going to define how far they go. And then there's development. Because no matter how fun they are on the highlight reels, the Hornets can't afford another year of moral victories. They need tangible improvement. Closing out games, defending late, turning effort into wins. Now let's talk about expectations. Realistically, Charlotte's not a playoff team. Yet. Not in a conference this loaded. But there's progress to be made. And if you watch closely, you'll see it. If LaMelo stays healthy and Brandon Miller pops, they could push close to 28 wins. That's not headline grabbing, but it's a meaningful step forward. A sign that the rebuild is finally moving in the right direction. That keeps them around 4th in the Southeast Division, which feels about right. Not bad, not great, but better. And that's what this year is about. Better health, better effort, better direction. For Charlotte, improvement isn't just measured in wins, It's in stability, chemistry, and watching that young core start to mature together. You can feel that shift coming. The Hornets might not make the playoffs this year, but this is where the rebuild starts to take shape. There's youth, there's energy, there's potential, and finally, maybe, there's direction. Charlotte's still a few pieces away from making noise, but for the first time in a while, there's a real hum in the hive. Now let's shift our focus down to Miami and the Heat. The Heat come into 2025 and 2026 staring down a transitional year. Last season, they went 37-45, missed the playoff sweet spot, and are now working to reset. But make no mistake, they're still dangerous, still built with that Heat DNA of culture and toughness. First, the players. At the heart of it is Bam Adebayo. He's still the anchor, the defender, the rebounder, the guy who sets the tone when they're serious. He gets a lot of the dirty work done. And if you're talking about the identity of this team, well, it definitely starts with Bam. Then there's Tyler Herro, the scorer, the spark, the guy who can tip games. But the caveat, health and consistency. Herro's talent has never been the question. Staying on the floor and being that go-to reliability, that's the challenge. Add that to the incoming mix, guys like Andrew Wiggins, bring in veteran versatility, rookie presence such as Kel'el Ware, giving hope of a front court of the future, and deeper pieces, role players, stepping up so that when Bam and Herro are on, the supporting cast isn't a liability. Now let's move towards their storylines. Replacing the old guard. Miami is in the process of moving on from some of the names that have defined the recent years. That means less stability of we know exactly who we are and more of let's define a new version of who we want to be. Closing the games out in mental toughness. One of the criticisms, the Heat could grab leads, look good in spurts, but then let games slip. Improvement here would signal a big step forward. Their offensive identity. Defensively, they've been solid. Bam and company can hold their own. The offense, that's been the drag. They must figure out how to score consistently, especially when the opponent pressures the ball. The balance between now and next. They aren't on full rebuild mode, but they're not in the top tier contender level either. They need to win enough to keep credibility, but also make sure that they're building for the future. That balancing act is delicate. So where will this team land? I would say somewhere around 37, 38 wins. For Miami, that's the baseline. I'm going to slot them in right at 38 wins. That positions them somewhere in the play-in or the borderline of the playoffs in the East. Not a full blockbuster team, but much closer to respectability than last year. In the Southeast Division picture, that would likely put them third, maybe second, depending on how others shake out. They'll still chase the top, but won't be a Cinderella sleeper, just yet more like we're back in the mix mode. In summary, Miami isn't reinventing themselves overnight, but they're evolving with Bam leading, Herro growing into more consistency, and those new pieces settling in. They should move from a drag from the year ago into something that looks competent, credible, and competitive. Keep an eye on how they finish games, how the offense gels, and how the new guys adapt. This season for Miami will be less about stunning the league and more about proving they still belong. Let's head now to Hot Atlanta and check in on the Atlanta Hawks. After a 40-42 season last year, the Hawks are looking to break free from the play-in tournament and make a real push in the Eastern Conference. The addition of Kristaps Porzingis has injected some much-needed firepower into the lineup, but the big question remains, can they finally put it all together? At the heart of the team is Trae Young. The four-time All-Star continues to be the engine that drives the offense. Last season, he led the league with 11.6 assists per game and averaged 24.2 points. However, questions about his efficiency and his defensive impact persist. This season, the Hawks are hoping he can improve his shooting splits and become a more consistent leader on both ends of the floor. On the wing, Zachary Richache has impressed during the preseason, showcasing his scoring ability and versatility. His development will be key as the Hawks look to add depth to their roster. In the front court, Jalen Johnson is poised for a breakout season. After signing a 5-year, $150 million extension, the pressure is on for him to deliver. His athleticism and his potential are undeniable. But now it's time for him to take the next step and become a consistent contributor. And lastly, there's the unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis. The Latvian big man was acquired in a trade with the Boston Celtics and brings a unique set to the table. Last season, he averaged 19.5 points and 6.8 rebounds while shooting 41.2% from beyond the arc. His ability to stretch the floor and provide rim protection will be invaluable for the Hawks. The bench has also seen some upgrades. Luke Kennard adds shooting depth, while Nickeil Alexander-Walker brings defensive versatility. Asa Newell, the 23rd overall pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, is expected to contribute off the bench and provide energy and scoring. Now let's talk about the big picture. The Hawks have been stuck in the play-in tournament for the past few seasons, and it's time to break free. With a core of Young, Porzingis, and Johnson, the potential is there. The key will be consistency and health. If they can stay healthy and find the right balance, this team has the talent to make a deep run. Looking at the Southeast Division, the Hawks are aiming to surpass the Miami Heat and challenge the Orlando Magic for a top spot. With the additions they're made and the growth of their young players, a 43-44 win season feels like a realistic expectation. In summary, the Atlanta Hawks are on the verge of something special. With a mix of veteran talent and promising youth, they have the pieces to make a significant leap this season. The question is, again, will they finally put it all together? And lastly, we're going to make a stop in Orlando and visit with the Orlando Magic. After a 41-41 season last year, the Magic are looking to build on their success and make a deeper run in the playoffs. At the heart of the team is Paolo Banchero. The 2022 number 1 overall pick has been a force since entering the league. Last season, despite missing 34 games due to injury, he averaged 29 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists after the All-Star break. This offseason, he signed a 5-year, $239 million maximum rookie extension with the Magic, solidifying his place as the franchise cornerstone. Joining Banchero in the front court is Franz Wagner. The versatile forward has been a consistent contributor for the Magic, providing scoring and playmaking alongside Banchero. His ability to stretch the floor and defend multiple positions make him a valuable asset. In the backcourt, Jalen Suggs is expected to take on a more prominent role. After undergoing knee surgery in March, Suggs is fully recovered and ready to contribute. Last season, he averaged career highs with 16.2 points, 4 rebounds, and 3.7 assists in 35 games. His defensive prowess and leadership will be crucial for the Magic's success. Desmond Bane was acquired in a trade with the Memphis Grizzlies, sending guards Cole Anthony and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to Memphis. Bane brings elite shooting and scoring ability to the team, addressing one of the Magic's biggest roster holes, three-point shooting. His presence should help space the floor and provide much-needed scoring punch. Tyus Jones was signed to a contract this offseason, adding depth and experience to the point guard position. Known for his basketball IQ and playmaking, Jones will provide stability and leadership off the bench. The Magic's front court depth includes Wendell Carter Jr., Moritz Wagner, and Goga Bitadze. Carter Jr. continues to be a reliable presence in the paint, both offensively and defensively. Wagner provides energy and versatility, while Bitadze provides rim protection and rebounding. The bench also features Noah Penda, Tristan Da Silva, and Jace Richardson. Penda and Richardson add depth to the guard and forward positions, while Da Silva provides swing and backcourt depth. Looking at the big picture, the Magic are aiming for a 3 to 5 seed in the playoff. With a core of Banchero, Wagner, Suggs, Bain, and Carter Jr., the potential is there. The key will be consistency. The Orlando Magic are no longer the league's best-kept secret. They're stepping into the spotlight. Now with Paolo Banchero taking that next superstar leap, Jalen Suggs healthy and confident, and Desmond Bain adding real firepower to the perimeter, this team looks ready to make noise in the East. They've got length, defense, and depth across the board, and for the first time in years, expectations aren't just about potential, they're about production. We're pegging the Magic at 49 wins, a number that reflects real growth without assuming everything breaks perfectly. This is a team built to compete now, not someday. And that'll do it for our look around the Southeast Division, one of the most unpredictable corners of the NBA map. From the Magic's rising young stars to the Hawks trying to reclaim their swagger and the Heat doing what Miami always does, fighting and grinding, this division might not have a clear favorite, but it's got stories for days. Orlando looks ready to turn the corner. Atlanta is betting on chemistry, and Miami is never an easy out. Then you've got Charlotte and Washington, two teams still in the building phase, but both are starting to show flashes of what's to come. It's that mix of hunger, talent, and uncertainty that makes the Southeast a must-watch this season. If you've been enjoying the divisional breakdowns, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, give us a like, and share the show with your fellow hoopheads. Every click, every comment, it helps grow the community. And trust me, we've got plenty more to come as we build towards our full preseason prediction. And hey, if you got thoughts of your own, predictions, hot takes, or maybe you just want to tell me I'm out of my mind, call the Roundball Rants hotline at 216-452-8813. Drop your name, your city, your take, and you might just hear yourself on a future episode. And remember, around here, it's not just basketball, it's therapy with a bounce. I'm Vincent Cooper, and I thank you for listening.